Hey, good morning, my friends. This is MLive Chief Meteorologist Mark Torregrossa. Welcome to the MLive Morning Weather Update. Not much has changed overnight, so I'll give you a recap of what's going on. And basically, the worst part of it is an ice storm for the what I'm calling the north central part of lower Michigan. If you're watching from the south, Detroit, Ann Arbor, Jackson, Flint, Grand Rapids, uh, Kalamazoo, Lansing, we don't really have a whole lot to worry about other than some rain and even some thunderstorms. So let's get to it. Now, here is the current radar, and I don't know if you could see just off the coast there of Grand Haven, a couple of lightning strikes. So yes, in the Grand Rapids area, southwest and west part of lower Michigan in the next couple of hours, you wouldn't be imagining things if you heard a rumble of thunder or saw a flash of lightning. And there has been up to nickel-size hail with that situation too. Okay, so a not officially a winter storm warning in effect for Michigan, as my little banner says, but a ice storm warning. You see the I don't know what you call that color, violet, dark purple color from Traverse City, Cadillac, Benzie, Manistee County, eastward on across into Gladwin and Aranac County, northward up toward Harrisville. So Kimberly Faith says Alger is scary with ice right now. UP has a foot of snow. Yes, coming down pretty good in the UP also. Okay, so here's the radar right now. The rain to freezing rain line sits somewhere across Bay County, Midland County, Gladwin County, and the precip admittedly is still quite spotty right now. You can see it building back to the southwest in the Chicago area, northern Illinois, and that's what will be coming into our area as we get into the later morning hours. So increasing. Now, one thing I will say, I do like seeing this is thunderstorms down to the south in Kentucky and Tennessee with a line of thunderstorms developing. Sometimes that can shut off some of the moisture to the north side of the storm. It doesn't going to look like it's going to affect this storm incredibly, but maybe it takes a tenth or 2/10 and keeps the ice down a little bit. By the way, the official definition of an ice storm from the National Weather Service is a storm capable of accumulating a half inch of ice. And a half inch of ice is very dangerous to drive on. It can take down some dead limbs, a very weakly constructed power line situation, but it's not a widespread type devastating ice storm like they had on this date back in 1922. Actually, one of our colleagues at MLive, Emily Bingham, was going to have a story on that. So watch for that because that one looks like it was an inch or 2 inches thick. Not the case this time. Okay, so let's get into her here and how much is going to fall in places. We're trying to pick out the rain snow line, or I'm sorry, the rain freezing rain line. And this is the current temperature. So 42 in Flint. Flint, you have no problems. Owasso, you have no problems. Lansing, no problems. Grand Rapids at 35 shouldn't be a problem because you should come up 2 degrees or so in the next few hours. Saginaw, 33. 32 at MBS, 33 at Harry Brown. So that's kind of where the problem lies. If you're traveling north today from southern Michigan, you're going to run into the freezing rain somewhere in Bay County, Midland County, Isabella County, Mount Pleasant, somewhere in there. And just north of that, certainly it will be all freezing rain. Here's the model that I like. And what I have here is the highest temperature for the day, showing if ice can melt off. So this is through 6 o'clock. Harry Brown on the southeast side of Saginaw could get to 36. The Thumb, 39. So the Thumb shouldn't really have a problem, except maybe along the shoreline. And what's happening, and I'll show this to you, is that northeast wind coming down the frozen Saginaw Bay is kind of keeping a wedge of cold air into northern Saginaw County, Freeland, Auburn, into Bay County, into Midland County. That's why it's halting the progression of the warmer temperatures northward. But then again, you see Lansing and you see Kalamazoo maybe in the 50s this afternoon. So a stark contrast from Lansing in the 50s to Mount Pleasant only at 32. And that's the way the winter storms go, and they produce the ice. So this is 10 o'clock this morning, 11 o'clock this morning. Let me give you a good perspective here. There we go. Okay, so the precipitation will basically increase as we get into 11 and noon, filling in rain, the rain to freezing rain line again across Saginaw, maybe south of Mount Pleasant, somewhere between Mount Pleasant and Alma, more toward Mount Pleasant, and north of Grand Rapids, maybe around the Big Rapids area. Cadillac, you're in the thick of it. Houghton Lake, you're in the thick of it. Gladwin, West Branch, Tawas, you're in the thick of the accumulating ice. And notice as we go through the afternoon, 2 o'clock, 3 o'clock, the rain to freezing rain line just hovering. And you can kind of imagine how the cold air comes in on a northeast wind off of Saginaw Bay, off of Lake Huron, and keeps that warm air from moving any farther north across the Saginaw area. So we will really have to watch it there. The good news here is this is 4 o'clock, this is 5 o'clock, this is 6 o'clock. So the ice really winding down by 6 or 7 tonight. Of course, it's going to turn colder, so roads won't turn great yet. Detroit, Stu, Passado, all rain for you. Maybe a few snow showers overnight tonight. This is 9, 10, 11, and it's done. And then colder air sweeps in, dramatically colder air sweeps in. Here's just a little bit closer of a look for my friends around the Saginaw Bay area. Frankenmuth, we have rain right now. So I got a feeling that this rain to snow line will stay north of Harry Brown, which would be, what would that be? M46? I guess I should know. Yeah, M46-ish. But it just hovers in that area. So how much? This is a pretty good forecast here. Looking at 1/4 to a 1/2 inch of ice. From Benzie, Manistee County, through Cadillac, through south side of Traverse City, definitely Houghton Lake, Clare, Standish, Tawas. North of that, it's snow, 1 to 3 inches, and sleet. And well north of that, the UP, it's heavier snow. Here's a good call from the National Weather Service. Total ice accumulation. Few hundreds around Saginaw, nothing around Grand Rapids, nothing Kalamazoo eastward to Ann Arbor and Detroit. So you're A-OK. You just got downpours. Okay, Jerry Van Horn says St. Louis, just rain. And St. Louis, you may stay. Just rain. Bay City has rain, says Keena Krensky. Janet Lottie Gaylord, you're probably in the 1/10 to 2/10 of an inch of ice and maybe an inch or so of sleet. So there's your freezing rain accumulation. And let's just search for something, anything springy. Well, today you get into the 50s in the south, and then tomorrow it's cold for everyone, and we're back to winter. Thursday, cold, and Friday in the 20s, and Saturday maybe inching above the freezing mark, and Sunday maybe inching above the freezing mark. Monday trying to warm, and Tuesday shrinking back to 30s and 20s, and next Thursday trying to get to the 40s. So we don't really see anything that is what I would call spring-like in this forecast. It's more winter-like, but this is the only activity we see basically for the next 10 days. So we'll get through this. If you're in the south, you've got all rain. If you're anywhere from Midland, north side of Bay City, northward, you're going to have ice. And Traverse City, northward, you're going to have ice mixed with sleet. So definitely a message as you head north. Stay out of the north today and wait until tomorrow when things probably will improve. Thanks for joining me on the MLive Morning Weather Update. I'm MLive Chief Meteorologist Mark Torregrossa, and this is brought to you by Lush Lawn. Thank you. We're going to start to think about grass soon, but right now we're thinking about ice. Take care. Be careful.